How is everyone doing? It is Saturday, July 21st, and there's some things that I wanted to talk about, especially when it deals with family, okay, and the importance of family. So, in the main photo that you're looking at right now, hi Denini, um, that is my mother and my father, right? I'm also in that picture, but you can't see me because I'm not born yet, right? So when my mother and father got married, my mother was pregnant with me, but nobody knew it except my mother and my father, right? My grandmother didn't find out until after the fact. And that was, let me see, I'll be 50 in a couple of years. My mother, so they've been married over 50 years, okay? For as long as I've been born, that's how long they've been married, right? Until today, un- until today. I am going to remember July the 21st for the rest of my life because my father passed away this morning. Okay. He wasn't sick. No, this really comes out of the blue. My dad was, as far as we knew, he was healthy. He retired years ago, but because he was bored, one of those bored fathers, retired men, he worked another job. Everybody actually loved him. In the area where my parents lived, people know both my mother and my father because my mother was a teacher, and my dad, he was just that man that everybody knows. Like everybody knows Mr. Manuel. Mr. Manuel was known by everyone. So, you know, uh, I talk to my dad at least once a week just to say hi, just to hear him, even though, he's no longer the man in my life, right? He's the first man in my life. He's the first man I ever loved. I The man that I chose kind of is based on my father. The man who will work. He knows to take care of his family. He puts his family first. My dad wasn't a wealthy man, just like my husband isn't a wealthy man. But my husband is a man who work. You know what I mean? And put the family first. So I guess I'm making this video kind of to say to you men and you women out there who are fighting over your children, you're not letting the men see their children because of money. A father offers more than money to their child, right? My dad is the first man I ever loved. He is the reason why I'm the strong woman that I am, as far as being able to go out into the world and and look up to men, because he was a man who was worthy of being looked up to. For you men out there who aren't taking care of your children, then you should be ashamed of yourself, because just because you and the woman has some issues, that has nothing to do with your children. Okay. So the first man I ever loved was my dad, ever. I remember my dad. I remember being a little girl, and Christmas time, and you believed in Santa Claus because your parents allowed you to believe in Santa Claus. But I never seen no damn Santa Claus, right? The only man I ever seen was my dad. My dad was helping me open the presents, even though Santa Claus got the credit. We all know as we got older that there was no motherfucking Santa Claus, that my dad was Santa Claus. I remember my mother being sick, and my dad had to comb my hair. He didn't know how to comb no hair, right? My dad sent me to school with 2 pigtails that were all lopsided and everything. But as a little girl, I didn't care. I was happy. I was going to school telling everybody, look, my dad did my hair. My dad did my hair, right? So right now I'm kind of in shock because I cannot believe that my dad is gone. I can't, I can't, I can't believe my dad is gone. Like I keep calling his cell phone, hoping that he'll answer. I just want him to answer the phone. He wasn't sick. Like, I can't believe it. It's like I just spoke to him, right? I wanted to make a dish and I wasn't sure, how I should make it. I called him. I was like, Dad, hey, I'm thinking about making okra stew, but my husband don't like okra. So what should I make with these crabs and this shrimp, right? He goes into talking to me, like as if I'm a little girl, because he goes and trying to explain to me how to make the dish. And I allow him to talk to me like a little girl because he is my dad. So I'm listening to him. And then in the end, right, I realized my dad just gave me the recipe to making gumbo. And I'm like we spoke, he was talking for a whole half hour telling me what to do, right? and I started realizing, I was like, wait, Dad, isn't this gumbo? And he was like, yeah, I'm telling you. I was like, Dad, I know how to make gumbo. I've been making gumbo all my life. He was like, oh, well, I don't know what else you can make, and we laughed. And it would be different if my dad had been sick. Like if he had been sick and in the bed and pain, a lot of pain or anything like that, we probably could accept it, right? I would be able to say, well, at least he's not in pain anymore. Hi, Mika. I will be able to say, well, at least he's no longer in pain. And, for those of you who believe in God and things like that, you'll be like, well, at least he's up there. He went home and now he's no longer in pain. But I'm thinking, I can't even say that. He was not in pain. And you know what? The thing about my dad, though, if he had been in pain, he would have never told me, you'll always be daddy's little girl. Yeah. my dad he's the reason why I ended up choosing the type of man I ended up marrying. He's the reason why I'm able to respect and always have respected the man that I married, because I've never called my husband out of his name ever. And that's because I watched my mother and my father in their relationship, and my mother never called, even when they were having marital problems. As children, we didn't know. I can't never ever tell you a time where, if you would listen to me, my sister and my brother, you would hear us tell you how perfect our family was as we was growing up, right? But as adults, we know that's not to be true, right? When we became older, we realized that our parents had marital issues, but the children weren't involved. We did not know it, right? We just didn't know it. And that's how it's supposed to be. You should allow your children to be children. And your children shouldn't know that you and the dad, whether y'all married or whether y'all aren't married, even if y'all hate each other, the children should know that. The children should be able to be children. And they should be just as blind as me and my brother and sister were, right? We were blind and oblivious to the fact that my parents, although married 50 something years, at times within their marriage, they had marital issues. And that's because our parents loved the children enough to make sure that the children wasn't affected by whatever issues adults had. And that's how I raised my boys, right? Me and my husband, irregardless to the issues that we may have had in our marriage throughout the years, we did not let the children know that. As far as my boys were concerned, it was their mother and their father, right? So my husband and I, we did this basically the same thing with our children. So I can't believe my dad is gone. You know, my husband father passed away last year, I believe it was a year before last, right? And we knew he was ill. Like everybody knew he was sick. And even though, of course, a loss of a parent is a loss, you know what I mean? I watched my husband, and his family go through their grief, and I was there right with my husband. I had his back, you know what I'm saying? Because I love him, right? And of course, as a man, he was strong, right? Of course, he didn't show his pain as much. I'm trying to be like like my husband was when his father passed. I'm trying to be strong like that, but it's difficult. And maybe because I'm a woman, I know a lot of you say, well, women, we are very emotional, so we don't know how to hold our emotions in. I'm okay. I seem to be okay until I start thinking about my dad not being able to ever hear his voice again. Like, I just can't imagine not being able to call my dad and say, hey, daddy, like I still call my dad daddy, you know what I mean? And when he answered the phone, how you doing, baby girl? And even though I'm not the baby in the family, I am actually the oldest. I'm the oldest, and then I have a brother who's 2 years behind me, and then I have a sister who's like 13 years behind us. I have a sister who's in her early 30s, and she is falling apart right now. And what's worse for me is the fact that I had to get on YouTube to make a video because I don't have no family close by. I'm not in Louisiana right now, and apparently I can't get a flight there until Monday. So I couldn't even be in the hospital to be there to pray over my dad. Like everybody else had a chance to be there with my dad in the hospital. They were shocked. Everybody was shocked this happened. My mom and my sister just talked to my dad, right? They talked to my dad. My dad kept saying he was okay. My sister was like, Dad, you sure? And he was like, he kept telling her he's okay. So my sister went and talked to my mom, and my mom went into the room, and my mom said as soon as she saw my dad's face, she could tell something wasn't right. So, and my dad kept telling her he's okay, don't worry about it. And so my mom said, shut up, and told my sister to call 911. So he was still responsive and talking. And as soon as they decided to call 911, by the time they got there, he was non-responsive. How you go from being like talking to suddenly being non-responsive? Like he was walking out to the ambulance and all of a sudden he just passed out and died. That's the story that I just got. And I'm thinking to myself, like, did they try to revive him? But I didn't want to ask my sister that because you know what I mean? Like they were in shock already. I feel like I should be there. I'm supposed to be there. I'm the oldest. I'm supposed to be there with my mother, helping my sister and my brother get through this. And here I am stuck in Delaware. Let's see. Thank you, Mika. You lost your mother 2 years ago, and just today was thinking I can't call. It's hard, right, Mika? Oh my God! And then Mika, like when my sister called me, I couldn't like I don't even know what the words were, but she told me, I don't know if she said dad's dead, or if she said uh I don't know what the words were, because I damn near wanted to pass out. And so then after they told me, then I get another call from my niece, and my niece tells me to sit down. She's like, "Are you sitting down?" I'm thinking, oh my motherfucking God, like what y'all about to tell me now? You just told me my dad's gone. So she's like, are you sitting? Are you sitting? And I'm thinking, oh my fucking God, please don't tell me my mother is gone. You know what I mean? Like my head. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, don't tell me, don't tell me. And then she says, dad's gone, right? My niece calls my dad her dad as well, right? Because my brother wasn't really there. My brother was in and out of jail. So my parents is basically her parents. So she's my niece all the same, but she is almost like she's my sister. You know what I mean? When it comes to my parent, like my parents, I have to share my parents. I always have to share my parents with other people. you know, um, so when I call my dad, and my niece call my dad, not only do my niece call my dad, but my niece's children call my dad as well. And it confuses the children when I call dad, because they're wondering how could that be my dad and their dad. And they get jealous because, their dad is my dad. It's a family thing, but I just can't believe my dad is gone. And I thought she was about to tell me that my mother was gone as well. You've heard of people dying, like, because it's stressful when somebody passes away, somebody you've been with all of your life. My mom had never been with another man in a sexual way in her entire life. There's only one man, and that's my dad, right? And they got together when she was young, right? Uh, and I was scared she was about to tell me that my mom passed away also. I was so scared. And so when she said dad's gone, when she said dad went home, it shocked me. First of all, she's not even into religion. So when she was like, dad's gone home, like, what? Dad's gone where? My dad did not believe in that religion type of shit neither. Okay. So I'm not going to allow anybody to come in who don't really know my dad to start talking that religion shit over his body. We're not going to be doing that. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep it as real as it gets. Everything that he wanted and things that he said he didn't want, we're going to make sure everybody stick to that shit. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody, if something happened to me, please don't. I don't want a group of people around me, surrounding me, my dead body, talking about how I'm going home to Jesus. Okay? No, I'm not going home to Jesus. I want people to keep it as real. In fact, I want y'all to put on some hip hop music. I'm gonna put this shit I want people to put on hip hop music, and I want everybody to have fun at my goddamn funeral. That's what I want. I want everybody to have a nice time, party, talk about the good times, talk about when I made y'all laugh and when I didn't. Talk about the drama on YouTube if y'all want to. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want. Let me see. They are strong just like you, bomb. You will get. Thank you, Denise. Yeah, I'm hope. Now, I already booked a flight for Monday. But if my children do not have to work, we may drive. My husband don't want us to drive. He didn't want me to drive by myself. Because y'all know, first of all, I would already be in a vehicle on my way. But I understand him, because he's right. because I start thinking about my dad, I start breaking out in tears and shit. You know, so he's right as far as me driving by myself. So I'm a, you know, abide by his wishes on that. You know, when I was younger though, I wouldn't have done that. When he would have said you can't drive, I would have been like, fuck that, I'm gone, bye. But he's right. But one of my sons don't have to work. But I don't, he's not the son I will he's not the son I would really want to go with me. You know, I want the oldest. If he can go, then we'll drive. If he can't go, then I'ma just probably go by myself. Yeah, he's worried about me. I know he's worried about me, of course. And you gonna come under here and think people don't know your name? Look, my husband is so worried about me. He's in the chat right now. First of all, I knew that with you earlier, okay? I'm okay. You don't have to come check on me. I do have this headache. It's terrible. The medicine won't stop the headache. But the reason I came on today was to talk to you younger people, right? With sons and daughters and baby daddies. You know, sometimes you got to sit that bullshit to the side, right? You might disagree with him. He may disagree with you. You might not be able to come together and agree on too much of anything. But if you can agree that you want the best for your children, right? If the two of you can at least agree to that. Women sometimes, you know, the men are still immature and they don't understand the importance of the children being in their lives. Some of them don't understand the importance of keeping to your word. You know what I mean? Like some of the men who will say they're going to pick up the kids on the weekend and then out of the blue they call and say they can't be there. You know, for you men who do that type of shit, that's irresponsible, first of all, right? It's irresponsible. It's very hurtful to the children who may have been expecting, who probably have been expecting that they're going to be with their fathers. And for you to let them down, that's very hurtful. And I say this even to those who are married. You know what I mean? I remember being a little girl and my dad telling me I can do something and then he back out of it, you know, for whatever reason. Like we never got the reasons. As a kid, the reasons don't really matter, does it? I remember my dad telling me that I can do something and then at the last minute I can't do it. I didn't understand that it was about finances back then, right? But even if it was about finances back then, a child do not understand that. All a child knows is that somebody told them they were going to be there and they were going to be able to do this, that, and the third. And now that person has disappointed them. That's all they know. He's worried about you. I'm okay. That's all a child knows. And we as adults, we need to understand that that's all children should know. They're too young to be getting into your financial business when they're really young. Okay? If you're not teaching them about finances, if you think they're too young to learn about finances, then that means they're too young to be understanding your financial problems. So you need to come up with ways to not make your financial problems their problems. And there's ways to teach that. Call your father, Danini, because this can happen out of the blue. You know what I mean? Like this is something that I wasn't even expecting. Like if my dad was sick, I probably would call him all the time just to say, Pop, you okay? You know, I didn't call him dad. I didn't call him Pop. That's what my husband used to call his dad Pop. And I remember my husband calling his dad pretty much every day. You know, wanting to know if he needed anything, making sure he feel all right, making sure his appointments are going well. You know what I'm saying? Like And he called his dad Pop, and he would say, Pop, you okay? Pop, you need anything? And as a family, if my husband wasn't able to go and bring his dad something, then he would call me or the children. Hey, your pop need this. Hey, your pop needs some company. You know what I mean? Uh, my husband has had me go and sit with his dad just because his dad needed company. You know what I mean? Just needed somebody to sit there and talk to. And I would go over there and play spades with my father-in-law. Yes, I would. And I was trying to teach him how to play it on the iPad, right? Because I was going to leave him an iPad so he can, so it keep him busy for when he had nobody to actually talk to. But I didn't have that opportunity with my dad. My dad wasn't sick. So because he wasn't sick, I wasn't calling him all the time to say, Dad, hey, Dad, I love you. Are you okay? We let life, like I rarely ever talk to my mom. I feel so bad. Like I talk to my mom, what? Not much. Because I'm not a phone person. And I guess I take comfort in knowing that, hey, I have a mother and my mother's still alive, but we take that for granted because I should be calling my mom more often, even if it's just once a week, just to say you okay and I love you. So I feel a little guilty as well with my father, right? Because I'm not there right now, and I haven't seen my dad. When last time I went and saw my dad, Mark? Like I don't know. I don't know why I didn't go see him. I could have went any time. I could have went. I could have saw my dad. I haven't seen him since the last time I went to Louisiana. I think 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. And I have no excuse for that. None. It's not like I work. Actually, it was longer than 3 years. I saw my mom 3 years ago, and that's because they came to Delaware. I haven't seen my dad. We went. I don't know when we went. It may have been. No, it's been. I haven't seen my dad. Well, it seemed like it's been sooner, but I don't know. Because I talked to him. I don't know. Yeah, I saw my mom them 3 years ago because they came to Delaware. My dad didn't come. My dad is one of those. My dad is a type. First of all, he don't do a lot of traveling. He like to fish and hunt, and he'll go and build some shit. Right? He's that bayou type of dude. Right? He don't care about no big cities and parties, and he don't care about none of that at all. So even when I went to visit, when I went to see him, he's that type of dad, and see a lot. You didn't see him a lot because, he was always on the go. He was always on the go. And let me tell you, my dad, the people where we are from, those people love and respect my dad so much as to when my brother, who has some issues, right? My brother has some issues. He did some shit he shouldn't have done. He went to my dad's job where my dad worked, right? And did some shit he shouldn't have done. And instead of the people calling the police, They called my dad and say, hey, your son did such and such and such and such. Right? And because he's your son, we didn't call the police. My dad was like, call the police. You know what I'm saying? But that's how people respect him. Like all over the parish, all over the parish, people know and respect my mother and my father. And my dad not gonna let his child ruin that respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I asked my dad, I was like, oh, you told him to call the police? And he was like, yeah. He said, because, you know, he's not going to let his son, who's 2 years younger than me, which means my brother is, that make him 45 now. 45. What? That make him 45, right? His birthday will be coming up in October. So he's 45. It's not like he's a teenager. So my dad was like, yeah, I told him to call the police on his ass. Oh, I have a headache. It just won't go away. So listen, if any of you have mothers and fathers or anybody who have raised you, if you haven't called them in a while, you need to pick up that phone. And even if you had some problems, right? Maybe the last time y'all talked, y'all had some disagreement. Like the question is that disagreement that important that'll keep you from saying some things that you need to say to people, because you never know when they may be gone. You never know. You're right, Mika. Nobody's prepared for this. And you know, if any of you, I know some of you have mothers who are ill and sick, and you know, call them. I don't care if you don't. You could have a disagreement. They may not agree with your life, but understand this: with your life and your lifestyle, and your decisions, they don't have to agree with your life and your lifestyle and your decisions, right? They don't. But that doesn't mean that you can't have a little relationship with them, at least a respectful relationship, to be able to say, hey, I appreciate what you did for me when I was growing up, and I love you. We have some disagreements as adults, but that doesn't mean I don't love you. Because everything that could come up when they pass away, for you to feel guilty about, you will feel guilty. I feel guilty because I haven't seen my dad, like physically saw him in years. I feel guilty about that. Even though, you know what I mean? Like I talked to him on the phone. Now I'm like, did I talk to him on the phone enough? Maybe I should have talked to him more. He knew I loved him. Every time we had a conversation, it was a good conversation. You know, the last time me and him spoke, not the last time, but I think maybe a couple of months ago, we had the conversation about dying. And I don't know what it is. I think I remember calling him, and it has something to do with death. I'm not sure if what it was. I'm not sure what it was, but we had a conversation, and he told me, you know, oh, I had a dream. Oh, that's what it was. I had a dream that my dad died. This was a couple of months ago. So I called him, and he didn't answer the phone. My dad is one of those type, if he don't know the number, he don't answer the phone. So I then called back because I knew he would answer the phone if I called back. That's his code. Code for if he don't answer and you call right back, he'll pick it up. So he answered, and then he hears my voice. He knows it's me. I tell him I had a dream that he died. And he's like, oh, baby, don't worry about that. I had a great life. He said, don't be worrying yourself about whether I die, because everybody dies. He said, there's no getting around that. We all die, right? And he was so dismissive about it, where in my heart, I'm scared because I'm like, my dad, I dreamed you died. And he's like telling me not to worry about it because we all die. And he tells me he's not sick. And he said, even, he lived a good life. That's what he told me. I'm just not remembering exactly what took place. He told me not to cry for him. And I was like, Dad, you know we're going to cry. He said, yeah, but he said, but he said he wanted me to know that he lived a good life. It's never that important, never. Losing my mom has opened my eyes to so much. You are so right, Bob. Right, Mika. You know, it's a lot of people who don't talk to their parents for whatever reason. I had a friend, her mother didn't like her lifestyle, right? And her mother wanted her to be more, I don't know, her mother is religious, right? So her mother raised her in the church, and when we grow up, we choose our own way, right? So she didn't choose the church, and she's just having fun. She's not married, no children. And her mother doesn't agree with that lifestyle. And so they don't get along. And what I want to tell her is your mother don't have to agree, right? We don't need everybody to agree with what we're doing. We just don't want you to beat us up on what we're doing, right? So I asked her, I was like, well, do your mother attack you on these points? She says, no, but, when they talk, her mother will bring it up. Bring it up. I said, just let her mother, I want her to know, just let your mother know, that you love her. Because she knows her mother loves her. And when your mother start talking about the things that you don't want to hear, just tell her you have to go. Just tell her you have to go. You don't have to argue with your mother about it. Just say, Mom, I have to go. And because I want her to know that her mother just wants the best for her. That's it. Your mother just wants the best for you. Unless you have a mother there are some people out there who have mothers who are jealous of them and don't want the best for them, right? They don't want their children to do better than them. I don't understand those type of mothers. I didn't even know those type of women existed until I got on YouTube and start listening to some of the stories. When I start listening to some of the stories that some of you women and men have about your parents, it shocks me because I can't even imagine anything like that. See, I can imagine a neighbor being jealous of, you and your situation and how you might be doing better. I can understand a neighbor or someone who don't love you, but someone loving you, I can't imagine them not wanting the best for you. I only want what's best for my children, and everything that I do every day since they've been born had to do with being better for them. Now, there's some things as an adult I remember me doing that had nothing to do with the children. But as soon as somebody would say, well, what about the children? Then I start thinking about the children. Oh my God, I can't leave my husband because of the children. You know what I mean? Like, I need to be fair about this for the children's sake. Me being selfish right now is not what we as adults or parents, not adults, but we as parents, we should not be selfish once we bring children into the world. You bring children in the world, hopefully because you prepared. If you haven't prepared, then now you have to do what you need to do to take care of your children, right? We all agree to that. And being selfish, like I listened to someone, I'm not going to mention no names or anything like that. I don't want to start no trouble, right? But when they start talking about how it's time for them to live their life, and I'm thinking to myself, no, sweetheart, it's not time for you to live your life. You know what I mean? Like, you have children. You lashed on to children, or you lashed on to them by bringing them into the world. Now they are lashed on to you. Everything we do as adults when we have children, they go through that with us. And if you're putting your children through some shit that you don't need to, that may hurt them, It may not harm or hurt them physically, but there's a lot of mental things that we need to think about as well. You know, and as adults, that's what we're responsible for. My dad was there every day of my life, every day. Even when I remember years ago, my mother left my dad, right? I think I told you all. My mom left my dad, took us, and we went to California, Oakland, California. And even then, you know, my mother just couldn't take it anymore. And she, you know, she decided to leave. My little sister was a baby. Me and my brother were in our early teens. And even then though, my mom never stopped us from having conversations on the phone with my dad. My dad ended up straightening up, right? While he realized he lost his family, he started straightening up. He's calling my mom, promising things, you know. And by the time we went back to Louisiana, back to my dad, he had changed his whole life around. He really had straightened up. So him as an adult, I don't know whatever he was doing. I have no clue. Okay, I did not never know what my mom and dad was going through, but I do know by the time we went back, whatever he was doing that made my mom leave, he was no longer doing when we got back. Sometimes it takes, you know, something like that to shake men up, or women, even women. I don't want y'all to think that I'm all, you know, against the man. I don't want y'all to think that. I only can speak from my experience, right, as a woman. So my mom never wanted to leave my dad because she always loved him. It was a hard decision. She'll tell you it was a hard decision for her to leave. And guess who she went to? She went back to her mother, right? We always run back to our parents. That's safe. So even with my mother, um, yeah, she went. And my dad, you know, I think we had a conversation in the live before where the men, we don't know why the men are dying before the women. That happened to you? Yeah, I think I told a story where, you know, um, I ended up going to my mother and my father with my children. And when it wasn't that I wanted to leave my husband, right? Because I loved him. It just that I just couldn't put up with what was going on. So while we was gone, he straightened up. By the time we come back, he was no longer doing what he was doing before. By the way, he wasn't cheating or anything. My husband used to drink a lot. He was drinking a lot. Okay, he literally. I used to. He was just drinking a lot. He was drinking so much that we left him, and he didn't even know we had left him. We was gone for a few months before he realized that. I remember him calling and saying, when y'all coming back? And I was like, why? He was like, because when he went to go wash clothing, you know, the clothes in the house, he realized the only stuff in the house that was left there was his stuff. Because we took everything with us, and the things that we didn't take with us, we threw away. So the only thing in that house was my husband's stuff, except the furniture. Like, you know, I left him with all that shit. We was gone. And and when he called to say when are y'all coming back, and he realized that the only belongings in the house was his, I was like, because we left you. I was like, we left you. The kids are in school here. And he stopped drinking. And he hadn't drunk anything since. I ended up coming back, of course, and my husband, I haven't seen him drink not a drop of nothing. Not beer, champagne, nothing. Parents not only have to deal with their issues, but the issues of our children never ending. I agree with you, Mika. It's so important. You know, I'm not here. See, I think a lot of the women think, because they think that I'm beating up on them because when I say something that they're not doing, or something they don't agree with, they assume I'm beating up on them, and that's not what I'm doing. I am here. I am for families. I'm not against families. I'm not telling anybody that you should leave a man, or you men should leave a woman. I've never said that, right? I'm here to tell women and men that we need to start caring about our children. Our children should come first. And people are like, no, that's not true. That is very true. Okay? Once you bring a child into this world, you are responsible for them. You are responsible for everything. You have to make sure they have food and shelter and clothing, right? Those are the basics. But we have even more responsibility than that. We need to make sure that they can maneuver through this world, right? This world isn't easy. It isn't a piece of cake. It's not something like being black people. We know that we need to teach our boys right from wrong. And we need to even teach them that even some things that we think is right might be considered wrong. Right? Because we don't have the same rights as white people. We don't have the same rights, and we all know that. Now, we should have the same rights. Legally, we have the same rights, but we know in real life, real time, your black son cannot get in his car and, and drive along with his music loud, because anything that gets the attention of police officer could ruin your life, in your life. Police officer could be stopping you, and they could claim that you've done something that you didn't do. You have no recourse. We can't actually fight it, right? We just have to accept it. That's what we have to teach our kids. I used to teach my kids the rights that they had. That was pre, or should I say post, wait, which one is pre? No, pre-Obama. Pre-Obama, I used to tell my kids, look, you have the rights to do this. If you're in a neighborhood and the cops stop you, you don't have to show them your identification if you are walking around. You know what I mean? And I would tell them their basic rights and explain them to them. Now today I have to tell them, well, look, don't argue your rights. You know what I mean? Even if you know it's wrong, don't argue. Just take that ticket, baby. Do whatever they ask you to do, sweetheart, with no attitude, with nothing. Isn't that fucked up? That's how we got to teach them today. We got to teach them that even though you have rights, don't argue them with a police officer. Just wait until you go to court. If you end up getting a ticket that you don't agree with, accept that fucking ticket. And on the day that you can appear in court, fight it there. That's right, Lord Gale. And turn on that camera phone. We should be walking around with camera phones on, to be honest. I'm waiting for them to start selling this little thing, that a pin that you could put on your lapel or some shit, right? And you could just walk around all day recording shit, because that's what we need to be doing. Our children, they'll pull out their phones when a fight is going on. But my son was in an accident, about a week ago, Mark? He was like a week ago. My son was in a car accident. 2 weeks now, right? Well, probably 3 weeks now. There's probably 3 weeks ago. And I told him, when he called me, I told him to pull out his cell phone and take pictures and record. When my son get back, listen to this. It's been 2 weeks now. Yeah. My son gets back. He shows me 2 pictures of his car in the back. Now, guess what's going on? The insurance company is arguing the fact that there was another car involved. That female's insurance, they want to pay the back end damage, but they don't want to pay the front end damage. So what happened was a female, while my son was stopped at a red light, a female rear-ended him. She hit him in the back. When she hit him in the back, he ended up hitting the car in front of him in the back. So he sustained back end damage and front end damage. But the female now is claiming, the one who hit the female, hit my son, she's claiming there was no other car involved, which makes their insurance saying they're going to pay for the back end, but not the front end. And we're like, whoa, wait a minute. You know what I mean? There was a front end damage, and this is why. Now, if my son had taken the video and the pictures like I told him, then it would be simpler, easier, right? We wouldn't have to go through all of this. But the good thing is there was another female in the car with my son, right? But still, if he had done what I told him to do, I think he thought that I was saying take pictures of the damage. I was like, take pictures of the whole situation. I wanted him to pull out his camera and just film, you know, in a 360. Record everything that's around you. It don't take but a minute to do that. Anyway, I just wanted to talk to you all about the importance of family. Put the drama aside and make the children the most important thing. You know, here online, there is a female, you all probably know who I'm talking about, right? Who just recently had a baby. And this isn't even just to her, right? Because I think she's reaching out to the father. I think she's reaching out the best way she know how to the father to say, hey, this is your son. He is a beautiful baby, right? And hi, Junk Pal. I think that she's reaching out to the father, and I think that if he is the father, then he needs to, whatever he needs to do to try to be there for the baby, I think is important. You see what I'm saying? But she's a celebrity. I don't want to get into the drama part. You know what I'm saying? But I think that because the baby, he's gonna need a father. He's gonna need his father. He's gonna want his father. I think he's definitely gonna need his father. I agree. I think, he needs to step up. I'm not changing my views just because who she is. The view is this. You make a baby, you're responsible. We know how the situation came about. We didn't think that it was right how it came about because we think that everybody needs to take responsibility, and that includes him. There is a real life baby involved. And my sons don't know nobody but their dad. You see what I'm saying? They love their dad. They respect their dad. Like they have, and men have different type of relationships. Like I sit back and I watch my sons with their father, and it amazes me, right? We women, I don't think we can understand. We don't understand the type of relationship that men end up acquiring with each other. Men and men type of relationships. Men with their fathers. You see what I'm saying? My sons have always looked up to their dad. They look up towards him, even though they're pretty much almost his height. You know what I mean? She's celebrating her. That's his job. Yeah, I don't doubt that it's his. It's none of my business. I'm just saying that if it is, I'm quite sure he probably knows that that's his child. And it's none of my business whether it is or not. But I can just say this. Whoever the baby's dad is, and that's just me just being neutral, right? I just want to be neutral. They need to step up. She said it a few times. We're package deal bullshit. Right. The package deal shit that needs to be thrown out the window. That's where I think, like, if she really wants the best for the child, then she needs to let go of that package deal. Because you know that may happen later on. It could happen, right? Depending on, but she gotta let that go. She gonna have to just say it's all about the baby. It's all about the son. Everything I've ever done since I brought my sons into this world on some real shit, it's been about them, right? There was times where I think I told you all where I don't know, I was being selfish. I was really thinking, okay, I want more, and I could get more. It was right there for me to be able to get more. And I don't know what more. When I say more, it's not that I'm saying better. I'm just saying I wanted something different, right? So I don't want the word more to mean like I meant that I could get more than I have. I mean I can get more than what I was getting. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to say that I just was being selfish and I saw something that I thought I might want to participate in. Being a married woman wasn't right for me to participate in it. So I was thinking, okay, I'll get out the marriage. But then I think I told you all when I was thinking about getting out the marriage, I was thinking like, what reason? What reason do I have? Right? My husband hasn't hurt me. He hasn't done anything negative to me. He was taking care of us. Like I had no real reason. So that's when you realize, okay, I'm just being fucking selfish right now. Right? Because this man loves me and I love him. I just want to be out. I don't know. Did I just want to be out in the street being a single woman? That's probably what it was. So then I started thinking, well, the children. Like, am I gonna ruin a family right now because I want to be out in the fucking street? Think about that. I had to think about that. However, nobody knows if he is trying to be there. I agree. That's why, Mika, we don't know what the situation is, and so I don't want to get involved. I just want to say this: they, as adults, those two people need to come together for the child's sake. You know what I mean? Realize what they've done. Because I don't know why people thought once the baby was here, shit was gonna get easier. The real work is about to start. The real work starts when the child is here, right? That's when the real work comes about. That bullshit that was going on during the pregnancy, that's nothing. The real work is when they really have to try to come together for the basis of the child, or you end up pushing people away. And now, later on in life, we'll have an adult woman who will have a son who will dislike her. He would dislike her. He would be able to say, you the reason I don't have my father in my life. Having a father in your life, some people don't know the importance of having a father in your life because you don't have one. So it's easy to say, well, if you won't be with me, then you can't have your son. It's easy to say that because they don't understand. You know what I mean? Because they think they are okay because they didn't have their father in their life. And my thing is, wouldn't you, if you want more for your child than you've had, then you should want a father in your life. You should, because you need to think back to when you was a kid. When you was a kid and you didn't have your father there, did you ever think, where's my father? Why don't my father love me? Why isn't my father here? Mom, why don't I have a father? You know what I mean? Like, if that's what came to your mind, that's the same shit that's gonna come to your child's mind. And if you don't want your child to go through that type of anguish and those type of thoughts, then you need to make things different. Do things different. That's all I'm saying. Okay? Because I think most of us love our mothers, right? He doesn't want to be with her, and he doesn't want anything put on YouTube. That's the problem. Yeah. And I know y'all, you know more about that situation, Lord, than most of us, right? Because I think he's in your area, right? And you men, y'all understand more about that. So, but you know, he has the right that he has as a father, Lord, right? Once he established he's the father, and once he take a take the responsibility, he can actually make it to where that child can't be used on the internet. You see what I'm saying? He has rights that he don't know about. He can actually get a court order that tells her he don't want his son being used on the internet. He don't want his son being in videos. That's right. Yes, he can. He has those type of rights. But he got to take responsibility and go do what he need to do to stop that. Because some people think that they're bringing this fame to a child. You know, they think that the more the child's in front of the camera, the more fame it brings them. But it actually could end up in the reverse, right? You're giving a child a job before a child is even old enough to speak. Baby can't even roll over, and this child has a job already. And that's messed up. You know, picture here, picture there. But when you start doing it, almost everything you're doing as a child or talking about the child, like there could be a court order that says she can't even talk about the child in a video. So he needs to do what he needs to do. Sometimes people be moved too fast out of emotions, right, and destroy what could be. I agree, and I think that's what I think. Maybe she was going through a lot, you know, because I don't know if y'all see, but I see a big change in what she was doing when she was pregnant than what she's doing now. Right now, it looked like she's back on a job making videos. The same videos she could have made while she was pregnant, she's making them now. I think she got into this funk and this depression, and so she started latching out, even though she created all of that stuff in the beginning. She created all those drama, all that stuff. Um, the trap plan didn't work. Yeah. Sorry, but the trust fund situation is too much. Thought that's why you took him up for child support. Oh, that. Ah, man. I don't know. First, you gotta have a bank account before you got trust. You gotta have a bank account before you get a trust fund. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Woo! I got a headache. Ah, I have too much on my mind, man. And the dang it, I agree. I think so. I think she needs to rethink the situation. Of course, you putting a picture up of a baby, where people want to keep tabs and you be like, oh, cute. But a lot of people don't do that. The women who had people following her through her pregnancy, after the baby's born, they are not putting the camera in the baby's face. They may come back and give some reports and say what's going on, that they can't sleep or they can't do this, they can't do that. But this female got a baby in her lap as she speak about all kinds of things. I've seen that baby in her arms as she was using foul language. So she had to make another video because other people see, I didn't say nothing about it. I just thought how disgusting, right? I'm going to be honest with you. You all can hear me cuss, right? We all are adults. Let me tell you something. My children did not hear me cuss ever until, right? Until maybe a few years ago. And the only reason was then is because I was online in a chat room. And they came downstairs without me knowing that they were downstairs. And they heard me, you know, we were doing drama in the drama room, and they heard me say a foul language. And that was the first time they ever heard their mom use a cuss word. Okay, because we supposed to keep our children. But there are certain, I can't lie, right? I've learned that there are families where the adults cuss. They cuss a lot. So, but I just think that if that's the type of family you're gonna be, then just admit it. We're a cussing family, and I'm gonna raise my kids up to be cussing. Don't be acting like, well, you know, babies don't understand words. Yes, baby don't understand words. Yeah, they pick up on everything you say, even as far as actually while they're in your belly. There's there was a study done where the babies can hear the mothers. The babies know the mother's voice as soon as the baby is born, right? Before the baby is born, it recognized the mother's voice. They start listening to the words you use, but I don't know. She's asking people. Oh, she's asking people to donate to a trust. Oh yeah, I did see that. Donate to a trust fund. I was like, oh my God. Ah, I think she even made a page, right? And gave it a name. It looks like, because if you first look at it, you'll think that it's a donation to something. She put a trademark. That's what made me notice. She put the trademark sign by. So if you don't read, you think that you're donating to some, like she gave it a logo and everything. I was like, this girl right here, boy, I'm trying to tell you. Talking about the top of the scam chain, that girl right there. Oh, my head is hurting. Oh my God. Okay, let me show y'all a picture of my father, because I don't want to get into the drama. Y'all know how I admit to this. Okay, this is what I admit when I'm doing lives. And I think she even admitted to this, and I agree with it. When we do lives, right, and we start chatting it up, and you start listening and reading what people saying, the chat tend to go the way the people are speaking, right? And so the drama starts when people start speaking drama. Anybody want to come in the chat? Y'all let me know. By the way, this is keeping my mind off of my father, but I am going to post some pictures of him. So this is the picture y'all see right now is of my mother and father on their wedding day. Okay. And I am 48. I'll be 49 this year. Wait, am I 48? 48. Yeah, I'm 48 years old. So this was 48 years ago. Actually, next month, this will be 49 years ago. Their anniversary is next month. My mother's birthday is this week coming up. So we'll be burying my dad around her birthday. And their anniversary would have been next month. So they would have been married 49 years next month. And now my mother, as of today, is a widow. Okay, my dad passed away this morning. Okay, so that's on their wedding day. I just looked at it for the first time and saw the little baby bump. I was looking at the picture real close because my mother told me she was pregnant. She told me the whole story. You know, I have one of those mothers who she's been telling me stories since I was a kid. Like instead of reading books, my mother made up stories and would put me in the stories. You know, back then they didn't have stories with black kids in them. So my mother would make up stories as if a book. And so that's what I did with my kids. I used to make up stories and tell them how they was the prince or they was this or that and the other, you know. So and there would be some truth in the story. So she did tell me, she told me when they got married, after they came back from their honeymoon, she went back to her mother's house and she said, well, we'll be expecting the baby in November. And my grandmother was looking at her and she was like, what? Now remember, they got married in September. July, August. No, in August. They got married in August. So they got married in August. Sometime in August, she said, yes, the baby will be here in November. And my grandmother looked at her and was like, What? And she said, yes, the baby will be here in November. So nobody knew my mother was pregnant. And she told me that after she told my grandmother that she was pregnant, that's when she started showing. So y'all ever heard of stories like that where the women, they keeping it a secret? And you keep it a secret, and your body actually will help you hide it. Your body will actually help you hide it. And as soon as you tell the people you need to tell, the next day, she said, the next day she was showing. I thought that was kind of weird, you know. Funny story too. Let me see. Let me put up another picture. Yeah, I was the maid of honor. Ain't that something? I was at the wedding. And I was at the wedding. So yeah, my mother, I had a mother who shared everything. You know what I mean? Like she would tell me stories. Let me see if I can change this photo. How do I change this photo? Go back here. Okay. So this was my dad. I think my mother got married. I think she's 19. So she's 19 in this photo. My mother, no, she's 20. My mother is 20 years old. Yeah, she's 20 in this photo. She's 20 years older than I am. Okay, so yeah, she's 20 years older than I am. How do I do this? Boom, boom. Mini files. And you know, back then, you had to ask for permission to get married. So my dad had to ask both my grandmother and my grandfather for a hand in marriage. And I think my dad is about 25 in that photo. I don't think so though. If my mother was 20, yeah, I think my dad was about 25. By the time my dad was 25 by the time I was born. So by the time they got married, he was 24. Oh, one of my cousins. Okay, so let's see. Where did I put the photos? In downloads. Yes, I did. Dad. Okay, so this is my dad when he was here. I was born, and I think on the picture it said 1976, and I was born in 69. So that would make, this is when he put them pigtails in my hair because I was in school. Okay. My dad, when he I was in kindergarten, I believe. Yes, because they didn't have Head Start back then. So I was in kindergarten and my dad had to do my hair. I don't know, I can't remember why he had to do my hair, but my dad and my brother, they look like they could be twins. Okay. Let me show you. Let me see if I can post a picture of my brother. So if I do a picture, add me a problem. I gotta find my brother picture. Let's see. It wouldn't be in download. Yep, let me download it real quickly off of Facebook. Like most of the pictures are on my iPad or something like that. They're not on this laptop. So I'm gonna have to go grab it real quick. Now, my son, one of my sons, I used to think he looked like my dad when he was younger, but then he looked just like his dad. So that there was never no denying who my sons were anyway. Like there was never even any doubt. because he definitely looked like his dad. And then my youngest son, on the other hand, he looks like his dad also, except he's light skinned. And just because he's light skinned, people say he look like me, but he actually looks. Both my sons, people used to think they were twins when they were younger. They looked alike, except one was a little lighter than the other. Anyway, this is mostly about my dad, okay? My dad who passed away. How old is he? Is he 70? Wait, my mom. I'm not 50 yet. I'm 48. If I'm 48, that makes my mom what, 68, right? Which makes my dad 73. Oh, I got a headache. I don't know. Every time I think about my dad, I could just goddamn headache. So I think my dad passed away today, being 73 years old. And his birthday is in October. No, his birthday is in September. My brother's birthday in October. My birthday in November. Our birthdays all line up back to back. Like, but starting from this month until the New Year's, there's a birthday every day, every month. So this week is my mother's birthday. Next month will be my parents' anniversary. The following month is my son's Malik's birthday, and then my dad's birthday. October is my brother's birthday. The end of October is my sister's birthday. November is my birthday. And yeah, and that's all of us. That's all of us. Some photos, let me see. We're gonna go here to albums. I had this headache. It really just don't want to stop. I have a picture that shows boys with my dad. I think it's my dad, my brother, and my first son. Let's see here. Yeah, this picture here. On my head. It's terrible. Let's see, download this picture. Let's show the picture in the folder. Let's give it another name. I'll call it family. And it is in downloads, right? Yep. So now I can go back here. It's in downloads. Find family one. Okay, so this picture is my son, my brother, and my mother and father. My first son. Now, I'm not sure if y'all can tell, but they all look alike. My dad and my brother. My brother is here with the muscle shirt, right, in his hair. He had cut his hair because his hair used to be a lot longer. He looked like a I don't know. People used to thought he looked like a Latino person. Then the women always thought he looked like Usher or somebody. I don't know. They love my brother, man. And so my son, when his hair, I don't know if he had cut his hair at this point, because my son's hair used to always be long as well. Then he cut it, started growing it back, cut it again. He don't never know what he's doing, but now he has hair down his back. Wait a minute, don't they look alike? So I made this picture. Oh, my head. Whew, it's killing me. Let's see how about. So let me post up another picture of my father. Let's see. So my father was a young dad, I guess, at 20. 20, how old? My mom had me at 20, so yeah. He wasn't, I think it's like me and my husband. How old was I, Mark, when we got married? Are you still in the room? Let me see, my husband's still in here. Are you still in the room, dear? Your brother was in, I don't know what, my brother was, I don't know where he was when he took that picture. But you know, my brother always had, I was 21 when we got married. That might be right. How old were you when we got married? See, my husband, I'm bad with numbers, okay? When I tell y'all something, when I give y'all a year, I usually just be giving you a guesstimate, right? So I tell y'all that I've been married almost 30 years, right? But my husband, on the other hand, he could give you the exact years that we've been married. And he'll give you the years, the month. He's that the brainiac type, right? He's real intelligent. And he'll tell you how many years, how many months, how many days, and he can even break it down to the hours. I don't even remember what time we got married. I think we were supposed to get married at like 6:37 or something like that in the evening. We ended up getting married a little later. Okay. So how long have we been married? 20, 27 years, 5 months. I told you. I told you my husband, he can break that shit down. Is it been 5 months? That don't sound right. Let me see. February, January, March, April, June, July. Yep, he's right. See, my husband he's one of those Jeopardy types. Hi, Black Hebrew. How you doing, my brother? My husband is one of those people who look at Jeopardy and knows the answers. Okay. The only reason he hasn't gotten on it, he qualified for that show year after year after year, because you do it through the internet, you take a test, right? And you qualify, but you know, there's so many people. He'll sit there before I can even read the question and comprehend what the hell I just read. He's already spit out the answers. So he's the Jeopardy one in the family. Okay. And all I could play is spades or day 9,000. He said 9,000 days with no end in sight. You too, you the Jeopardy type also, Lloyd Gallett? I knew there was a reason why I like you, Lloyd Gallett. Oh, by the way, Lloyd Gallett is my adopted, he's my adopted nephew, Mark. And Lloyd Gallett, Mark E right there, that's my husband. Okay. So he's my adopted nephew, and his daughters, he has some beautiful daughters. They are my adopted nieces. Don't ask history related questions though. Oh, that's what I'm about to say. You the history person. You the history person. My husband, on the other hand, like he knows things I didn't even. Sometimes I question him. I'm like, how did you know that? Like, where did you learn this shit? Like, did you learn this shit in school? Because I don't remember learning that shit in school. I'm like, I don't know, you know. Maybe they were teaching us different shit down south, but there's a lot of shit y'all be knowing. Yeah, that's why we like each other. You suck at literature. Now, the only thing that I can answer on Jeopardy is if they ask computer questions. Ask my husband. They ask one computer question. I'll be like, yep, that's it. Yep, I got that. I don't miss those. Okay. But other than that, other shit, I don't know nothing else. Nothing else. I don't know nothing about no literature, history, none of that shit. Y'all brain work real fast. Like Jeopardy, you gotta literally read fast. And I don't know. Am I a slow reader? I don't know. I'm wondering, like, how in the hell y'all coming up with the answer? I haven't even read the question yet. I'm still reading the question. Oh, my head. Oh, my God. It's bad. It's bad. Let me take this medicine. You're not computer savvy? Nah. That's the only thing I probably... Okay, up until computers, I would only say that I'm really good at erotic stuff, right? I'm a good writer. I write well. I write quite differently than I speak, which is kind of weird, right? I don't know if that's weird, but when I write, it's in perfect English. I know how to structure sentences and all of that stuff. But other than that, I never knew what I was good at except computers. I've always known, since middle school that computer kind of come to me. I don't like to read. I do like to write. I don't like. Oh, you did? See, I've never seen not one of them. I'm gonna look at them and give you a thumbs up. I got you. The last video you put up before that was it the one where you did the animation? Cause I don't get anybody's you know how they tell you that somebody put up a new video? I never get them. I think YouTube have this sector. They have us on something where where they don't tell us about each other. I need my medicine. Anyway, let me put up the link in case y'all want to come in. So this is my dad at, I'm thinking maybe 24. Okay. Let me see what else. I'm going to put up another picture of him. How do I be forgetting how to do this. Okay. Let me clear it. Okay. That's easier. See him at 24. This is him and my mom when they got married. When they was cutting the cake. Oh, Lord, I'm out of medicine. I don't know how old I am in this picture. But anyway, they were cutting the wedding cake, and their wedding cake was chocolate. The only thing I hate about these photos is that they're in black and white. And first of all, looking at the photos, y'all would think that my parents are dark skinned, but my parents are actually lighter than I am, right? Back in the day with the black and white photos, you could never tell. They would actually, the way they created and made black people look, they had to make them look dark. So, but both my parents were really light skinned. What's that name? Headaches. It's driving me crazy. So they were really light skinned. I wanted to see if I can get this picture in color. If I can go and have somebody, but I don't know how they go about that. And like my mother said, her wedding dress wasn't white, that it was like a pink color. My wedding dress was also a pink color. I got married, my wedding dress was pink, light pink. Shit, I would have preferred to get married nude. I wanted to have a nudist type of wedding. I always wanted to be different. It wasn't gonna be nudist for real, but the wedding dress that I really wanted, yeah, you would have just said I was nude. Okay, especially back then. Now you can get all types of wedding dresses. But back then you couldn't. And let's see. Let me do one more picture of my father, and then we could start on our topic. Let's see. And this is my dad a couple of years ago. how many years? I'm not sure. You could tell he's a out in the sun building shit. I remember my dad built our home. We watched him. Like I remember, like when we first moved in the home, I think I told you all, the home was a shotgun house, right? It was only 3 rooms, and the bathroom was an outhouse outside. And once we moved there, maybe we were there for 6 months, and my dad started building our house. And I actually watched this man. That's why I said I should have been like a carpenter, because I watched him build a house day by day. Go out there with the wood and oh my head. Oh, fuck. I have to call my husband up here. Anyway, so my dad passed away. I don't know what time, but I know they called me. I was sleeping, and they were calling everybody, and they didn't tell. I'm glad that they did it the way they did, because they called me. They couldn't get me. Then they called my husband, and they couldn't get him. Then they called my oldest son, and they did talk to him, but they didn't tell him what happened. I guess it was, they wanted to tell me this. So, and good thing, because he was at work. My son would have broke down. Okay, he would have broke down at work. So they only told him, tell your mom it's an emergency to call us. So then my son started calling my husband, and then my husband came up here and woke me up. Got to call your mom. It's important. So I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, what could it be? Right? I still can't believe it, but I want to call my dad and just say, hey dad, how you doing? Tell him I need some cooking tips. Because my dad he was the cook in the family. My mother cooked, but if you wanted some food, some real food, it was my dad. He was the cook in the family. All my uncles. Like when people say women, it was the women's right place in the kitchen. I don't know where they get that shit from, right? Because it was all the men. All the men in my family were the cooks. Not to say that they always cooked, but they were the best cooks. Uncles, my dad, all my uncles, aunts. They really wasn't. My aunts might go and cook some spaghetti and meatballs, but my dad, he go in that kitchen and he'll make some type of stew. He could cook wildlife and make you want to eat it. Y'all be claiming y'all don't eat certain things. If my dad, I invited several people. I was like, I promise you, if you go to my house and my dad cook it, just by the smell, aroma alone, you would say, give me a plate. And think about my dad. See, the only reason he couldn't trick me into eating shit only because I knew him, right? I knew you walk in the house, you'd be like, damn, that smell good. Can I get a plate? Everybody I ever brought to the home would say, damn, that smell good. Give me a plate. I tried to warn my girlfriends. I'm like, look, I let y'all know ahead of time. My dad cook all. Yeah, my dad will cook. Not no. See, he never made it in no simple shit like burgers. He would make it in some type of stew or something. And you would sit there and you would eat that shit. And you'll be like, how good. They used to eat it and they'll be like, what's this? And he might tell them that it's squirrel. And they'll look like, what? Did I just eat squirrel or a bird? He'll tell them you just ate some type of bird. Something. They always want to know what it is because they eating it and it tastes so good. And they'd be like, damn, this is good. What is this? He'd be like, oh, that's squirrel. Oh my God. But you walk in the house, I'm telling you, yeah, see, that's the thing. They shouldn't have asked. Like I try to tell them, I'm honest with him. I'm like, my dad he cooked wildlife. He cooked everything. So all my girlfriends already knew this. Like I've told you all, I'm from the bayou. And my dad is like a David Crockett. You know what I'm saying? He could make a meal out of anything. Any damn thing. And so all of them knew. I'm like, I done told them. They knew this. I'm like, my dad cooked all kinds of shit, girl. My dad cooked alligator, squirrel, nutria rat. He cooked it all. And then I take them to my house, and you can smell the food. They walk in. They're like, damn, that smell good. And my dad, he's nice, right? You want to play? Oh, yeah, baby, you want to play? I'll fix your plate, baby. And they're like, yeah, I'll take a plate. He'll fix them a healthy plate of food and shit. And they sitting there talking. And then they like, ooh, this is good. What is this? Oh, baby, that's squirrel. He like, that's squirrel, baby. Then they ain't got shit to say because you would think they would just want to spit it out, or they continue eating. Like, what? Next thing you know, they like squirrel. Anyway, let me put the link in the room. I have this headache. I can't believe he's gone. But my dad, as nice as he was one of those men you don't play with. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, because like I said, they kept children. Children had a place. All the adults respected that children stayed in children's place, and you don't involve them in adult stuff. So I remember my mom and I walking out to the store. We rarely ever did this because my dad didn't like us being out, and he definitely didn't like us walking nowhere. So I don't know why, but I think we needed something from the store. And my mom said, let's go walk to the store. So we go out walking to the store. And these men, right, they looking at my mom whistling and shit. I'm probably, at the time, was probably around 12, 13. I'm still a little girl. They whistling at my mother, don't know who she is. Woo, look at that. Who is that? And one of them, they were standing on the track. You know how you men, the cat calling shit? That's what they were doing towards my mother. And one of those men looked up and saw my mother and said, oh, shit. I heard him say, oh, shit. And he told the other men they better stop it. And I heard him say, they said, that's Manuel, right? They called my dad Manuel. They said, that man said, oh, shit. He said, stop. And it was like, he said, that's Manuel. And those men shut the fuck up real fast in a hurry. I learned early on that I didn't have nothing to worry about when I went into the town area. Because people, once they recognize, oh, that's Manuel. Oh, that's Lil Manuel. Oh, that's Lil Manuel. Nobody will say shit to me. Now, I don't know why that is, right? I don't know what kind of rep my dad had. I don't know none of that shit. I just knew that I ain't have nothing to worry about. But I also knew that I bet not had done no shit neither. Because they would come by and say, they'd be like, I'm going to tell your dad. Be like, damn, when I became an older teenager and I'm out there thinking I'm free and shit, right? I know there ain't nobody around. My mother's not around. My dad's not around. I'm with my girlfriends. I'm thinking, I ain't got shit to worry about. And this strange person I don't even know talking about, I'm going to tell your dad. Like, out the blue, I'm going to tell your dad. I wanted to flip them, you know what I mean? You want to be a little flip and say, I don't give a who you are. Hell no, not me. So they tell me they know my dad, then I know I'm gonna do right. I'm be like, sir, what did I do? Sir, I ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm like, I ain't got nothing to do with it, sir. Shit, my dad, he was one of them dads you didn't want to get in trouble. Cause I can't remember him spanking me. I remember the last spanking my dad gave me. I remember that shit. And I may have been like 9, 10. I remember why he spanked me. But he ain't never had to spank me again. Okay? He never had to spank me again. After that, my mother didn't even have to, all she had to do was say the words, I'm going to tell your daddy. She said, I'm going to tell you that. That's how she disciplined. That's how she set us straight. is to say that she gonna tell your daddy. You gonna tell your daddy, you know you're gonna shut the hell up. You're gonna do whatever she said do. She tell you to wash the dishes and you do them. You want me to tell your dad? Oh no, I'm going, yes ma'am, I'm gonna wash some dishes right now. My mother was slick with it. You're right. We would come home from school and she would say, get them dishes done. They better be done before your dad get home from work. We knew exactly what time he got home from work, and we knew she was okay as long as they was done before he got home from work. And that's how our mother disciplined us. That's how she made sure we, we was on the straight and narrow. By telling us she gonna tell her dad. And then my mother was also a protective type. If I got suspended from school and I could come up with a valid reason, like mom, I really didn't do it, or this happened, or I did get in a fight, but this is why. And if my mom found it to be acceptable, she would decide whether she would tell my daddy or not tell my dad. If she decided that she wasn't going to tell my dad, then it wasn't like lying. We just wouldn't even mention it. Right? We would mention it and we would act like the next day, we would act like I really was going to go to school and all that shit. My dad would wake us up in the morning to go to school and I would act like, okay, I'm getting up. He would go to work. My mom would make us do whatever we need to do as kind of like punishment for being home all day. And then we would act like we just got home from school. you know so it wasn't like lying. So she was very protective, but if she decided that my dad needed to know for whatever reason, like if it was something that she knew that he would find out about, then she would tell him, and then she would talk him. But if my dad heard that we got suspended, he was ready to grab the belt. He was ready to grab the belt, telling us we need to be listening. I send you to school to learn. I send you to school to learn. So anyway, I'm not even looking in the room. Let me see what y'all talking about. Oh, my head is it's really killing me. Where's my medicine? Anyway, I'm gonna put the link in the room. So was he a great man? Let me tell you, he was a man's man. He was a strong man. He was a great dad. Um, it's weird because he wasn't a dad where you think when I say great dad, a lot of people don't know what that means. He wasn't like my mom. He wasn't always in the house doing this. You always knew he was out doing whatever men do, whether he was in the yard doing something, if he was doing something on the car. I could talk to him, but he was, I don't know. It was like the mother was the mother, right? The mother was who you went to your problems with. And the dad, like if the mother couldn't solve it, the dad was the person who solved the issues, I guess. So my mother was there to love on us and guide us in certain ways. And the dad was the disciplinarian and the man, the person who took care of the household as far as making the money and keeping us safe. And maybe that's why I think of men as you are supposed to keep the family secure and safe. And you make sure that, you go and work, of course, and bring the money and make sure everything goes well. That's how I think of men. And it seems like you men don't like that anymore, though. It seems like we got a lot of men complaining when they say, all the woman wants you to do is make money and keep her safe. But yes, that's how I was raised. I mean, what else? I'm not sure. Yeah, that's how I was raised. And my husband, like first time I saw my husband, it was on some weird shit. But by the time we started dating, like I looked at him and yes, the first thing I thought of is he could keep me safe. Like You know, yes, he could keep me safe. He's tall and handsome. On top of that, and also as far as working, I didn't know that about him. We both were in the army, so I didn't consider the money he was making. That didn't bother me, right? I didn't even think about that. So I didn't marry my husband for money or all that, none of that bullshit. Hi, Romero. I didn't even consider that. I just considered him when he asked me to go out on a date. I looked at him. I said, yeah, because he made me feel safe. And he still make me feel safe. And the weird thing is, right? The weird thing is, because I think at some point he thought that I think I remember us going through a time where I think he thought that I didn't think he was strong or something like that, or he wanted to know why I wouldn't let him confront certain people or anything like that, right? And it wasn't that I was worried for him or worried for anyone as far as whether he could beat someone up or some shit like that, right? It's just that if something would happen, you remember how we met? I don't know if we would say we met the same time, because the first time I remember me and you having any exchange, you was at the we was at the gym on the post. And from what I understand, I remember I was walking in, and you, like, I'm not sure, because you probably noticed me before I noticed you, but I remember you came and you asked me a question about somebody else. That's the first time I remember. Then the next time I remember, we was in the hospital in our unit, right? And you said something, and I said something mean to you. What? You went out with a guy and got beat up? Oh yeah, he got beat up. Yeah, that's what you told me. Okay, so I think I told y'all this story, right? My husband and I went to a club. I went to the NCO club with my girlfriend. And this used to happen a lot. Men used to get beat up dealing with me because another man would come and want to dance with me while I'm dancing with one guy. But anyway, from my understanding, I went to the club, not with the guy, but the guy was there. And he asked me to dance. We dancing. Another guy sums him up, look him up and down, and decides he gonna just break in between us and start dancing with me. So that's what happened. This other guy jumps in the middle and starts dancing with me. Next thing I know, they're fighting. What you said? Let me see. Huh? you Wait. Garlic possum burger. Okay. Um. Oh, he said palm. Okay. Yeah. So they fighting, and that they got beat up. He got beat up, but see, I had left. I walked away. Old dude had a black eye. I think he had gotten a black eye and everything. But not that I think about it, Mark. Right? I think the reason why he probably thought that was you, because it was a tall guy who was slender who beat him up. But I think he should have known. From my understanding, he should have known whether that was you or not. But yeah, it was a tall guy who I didn't even know who beat him up. I left. I saw them fighting. I was like, look, I don't know neither one of them like that. I don't know who they. I don't know y'all like that. That's why I chose my husband, right? Because another guy, if you would have tried to sum up him, you wouldn't have wanted to break in between us. Like, you would have looked. Another guy would look at him and probably say no. They don't want to. You know how you men do. Y'all look at each other and y'all kind of determine whether you will fight him or not. You know what I mean? So apparently the other dude who I was with, he looked like somebody would sum him up and say, no, I could take him. So he couldn't have been my husband. He couldn't have been my husband because he wouldn't have been able to protect me. My husband said, no, we shan't. Oh, yeah. Now, see, I think I told them the story. How my husband and I, how we met. My husband was dating a female. And that guy who I started dating was dating that female also. I don't know if they were dating at the same time, but apparently I jumped into this situation with this one guy who was dating this other female, who my husband, who ended up being my husband, was dating her as well. How I end up dating both I think they probably set me up as you think about it, right? Because maybe my husband wanted to date me because he thought he was getting back at that other dude. Is that what it was, dear? Is that how was you? Did you decide to date me because I was dating old dude and you wanted to get back at him? Be honest. You could be honest. Come on, tell it. That's probably because that's what it sounded like. It sounded like I was dating him. He was dating her, who was your ex. And for you to get back at him, you started dating me. Come on, you could type faster than that. I know you know. You could tell us. Yes, it was. So why you wanted to date me? Look, he typed that no really slow, y'all. It was weird. How it was so weird how we because the post was large, but there wasn't many females. You know, when a new female ended up on that post in on army basis, when new females come, all the men know about them. Okay, because you know it's like 99% men in the military. So when a new group of women come to the post, all the men try to get dead, trying to see who it is. But no, so I was dating a guy, and that's how I met my husband. He walked up to me and asked me, was I dating that guy? And I told him ain't none of his effing business who I was dating. Like I didn't know who he was at the time. I was like, I don't know you, you know, and I had a foul mouth. I had gained a foul mouth when I was in the army. It was, but like I tell you men, right, it was out of protection. It was my way of protecting myself. I felt like smiling at men seemed more like it was an invitation for these men to not leave me the fuck alone. So I started to come up with this foul language, hoping that it'll run them off. And it didn't run all of them off, but some of them it ran them off. So my husband was he was dating this female. I don't even know how but we were young, and I told y'all I was young, and so I didn't. He said JPV was here too. Yeah, a lot of people was here. They come and go. Anyway, see, I know some people when I tell stories, people don't be believing me, and they probably think, "Oh, you talking because your husband not here." By the way, my husband is usually, you know, in the room. Y'all just don't be knowing it, or he listened to the videos. At the time, I was dating another girl. Then you came along and went out with dude. Then me and that girl broke up, and I ran into you again, and we started talking. We started talking. So I already was dating one guy who was dating somebody he was dating. Then I went out on a date with your roommate. Remember that? So my husband and his roommate fell out because the only reason I went on a date with him, though, to be honest, was because he asked, and I didn't know how to tell him no. But he wasn't my type. He wasn't tall enough. He just wasn't my type. But he was a nice guy. You know how you have, see, you men don't understand, right? Some of you are nice guys, but a woman knows her type. You can't get angry and start talking about the woman only want the bad guy just because she decides not to choose you. She understands that you're a nice guy, but you still just aren't her type. So that my husband's roommate wasn't my type. He just wasn't like when I couldn't even imagine kissing him or none of that shit. So when he asked me out on a date, I was hesitant. Like I actually said no, and he was like, "Come on, we can have fun." Soon as the "come on, we'll have fun" comes out of his mouth, now I'm thinking, "Oh my God, I don't want to hurt his feelings." I've already said no, and he didn't accept that. So now, what am I to do? Like, I've already said no in the nicest possible way. And when he was like, "Come on, we're gonna go to the movies and have fun," now it's almost like he's pulling me. So now I'm in a place where, okay, he's nice, he's just not my type, and but he's nice. So I was like, okay. Then when we went on a date, I was like, "I'll pay for myself." Like that should have been a sign that I wasn't interested in him when I told him I would pay for myself. Look, I was even willing to pay for him. I was like, "I got it." I got it, because I don't want nobody thinking that they paid for a ticket and some food that I owe you anything. So I was like, "I got it." Those are signs that a woman, she's not really interested in you. Listen, damn, so your husband know I talk a lot of shit, huh? Yeah, he know. Women want the baddest in the bunch. Period. It's not. My husband's not a bad guy. Like he's not you wouldn't call him a thug. Um, yeah. Like I just told you, he's a Jeopardy. He's smart. He's intelligent. I've never went for thugs. I've never went for a guy who had his pants. Well, back then they didn't have their pants like that, but no, I never went for a thug. In fact, to be honest though, that guy who I was dating when my husband asked me, who they were dating, so he could have been considered like a thug. I guess, I'm not sure, but that didn't work out. That didn't work out because, like, when they were fighting, I was thinking that's not my type. I'm not into no guys where I gotta sit there and watch you get beat up. I'm not into no guys where I gotta sit there and watch you fight. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm already there with you, why are you fighting? Let me handle this dude who broke in between us. I can handle this, right? By telling this dude to move. And then we could have continued on, but no, they wanna. Oh, this is my mom. Hold up. Hello? Huh?
How you doing?
Okay, how you doing?
I'm good. I think if I was younger, I would be, I'm not gonna say more upset, but acting out more, you know.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But me and them, we've been married almost 49 years.
Yep, I told people I'm be 49, so yep, y'all been married. Y'all anniversary next month, right?
Thank you, man.
My head is killing me, Mom. So y'all doing okay?
So then your hair right too?
Yeah, my head. I always have headache, but this is something different. I think it's stress.
And the been cleaning up ever since we got here.
Yeah. We all grieving our own way, right? I was telling people like this was like Dad wasn't sick or nothing. So this is not like if he was sick, and this is so out of the blue.
We Maggie said he bet, and you know they don't know because they have a thing. I asked her not to. I don't want to run a lot of problems. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Maggie told her she got that. So milk. And she's bringing off got that name out there because playing. Everybody know how busy the head is.
Yeah, Daddy stay busy. I was telling people that my dad was like I call him the out there on the bayou fishing and hunting and cooking and doing all that,
He was a
hustler. Yeah. So you know what? I remember I talked to Daddy. That was last month. I called him and told him that I had a dream that he died, Mom. Right? And what he told me was Oh, don't worry, because I called him. I remember calling him, and he didn't answer. So I called him again the next day, and I told him, I said, Dad, why you didn't answer your phone? I had a dream you died. And he told me, oh, don't worry about that. Don't be stressing about that. He was like, I lived a good life. And he told me that everybody died. You know how Daddy could be dismissive.
Right.
And he was like, he lived a good life. And
that's all never gets talk.
Yeah, that's
never gets
Yep.
Your daddy was definitely in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So he played when he wasn't playing. He stopped when he didn't want to go no more. When they just start driving, his daddy stopped. You know, and that was his church, you know?
Yeah.
Close that door.
That's why I was telling people, you know, I was talking how he cooked. I was like, he the cook in the family, you know, and how I called him last week when I wanted to make a dish. Oh, my head. Oh, my God.
Close that door.
Inika scared me, Mom.
What do you mean she scared you?
Because she didn't know that y'all had told me. She didn't know that y'all told me, so she called me and she asked me, was I sitting down? I was like, oh my God, no. I was like, don't tell me. I thought she was about to tell me something happened to you too.
Close the door. Yeah, everybody knows that. You know, everybody knows that. Because everybody was running around like chickens without the meat. So everybody get the memo, you know, at the same time.
So Tanisha told me that he was that he bumped his head with it.
He fell off the bed last night.
Last night?
The doctor ain't know if that's one of the reasons. You know, they took him to New Orleans and they gonna autopsy him.
Uh-huh.
And they gonna let us know. Close that door.
So but Tanisha said y'all talked to him this morning, right? Like right before? What hospital, Mom? What hospital? Huh?
But
Mm-hmm.
Your daddy had died before they took him home.
So y'all.
That's the way he wanted to be.
So he
was cold when I had to talk to him. He was moving around.
Mm-hmm.
But life is always leaving. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be all right.
So I mean.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You
know something?
Mm-hmm.
You know something? Like you said, you had a dream. You had a dream that happened, right?
Yeah, I had a dream.
Last week when I was in jail, I woke up and I kept telling everybody something bad happened. I could tell you something bad happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what it was, but then I called. I made some phone calls. I had some good news that I'm getting out of jail. Tuesday, I was going to get out of jail. It's Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this morning, today, they woke me up. They told me to pack myself and run home. They didn't tell me why I was going home, but when I got to front, I called this told me what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it just not hit me. The hip, what big and hold you know, what happened? Daddy was at beach.
Yeah.
I know Daddy.
Yeah, but why didn't he didn't come to me though? Like normally when people in the family die or somebody I know, they come to me. I was sleeping and Dad didn't come to me. Why?
But see, that was Dad. You don't be talking to Grandma.
Yeah, you're right. He wouldn't have. You're right. He wouldn't have come to me. He would have wanted us to know he was okay.
Yeah, y'all be talking to Grandma. Y'all be talking to Grandma. They got bees in there. He wouldn't want to, He wanted to go out and do it. He damn sure wouldn't want us to be sitting around here crying and worrying and our heart broke. He wouldn't have wanted that.
Right.
He wouldn't have wanted a lot of people all around him, whether he was living or now. That was that.
Mm-hmm.
And by crying and all that, that's no, get off the grass. Get off the grass. Give me that. Y'all cutting up too bad. They got bees up in there, man. Y'all can't see them, but they got bees in the grass deep up in the roots. They'll tell y'all what's up in the grass. Do this. Give me this. Let that go, Nate. Now look, I can understand if you lost your daddy. I know it hurt. But I know it's gonna hit me hard. It hit me hard when I was in jail. I didn't sell out.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell you something, it's the truth, right? I mean, Dad lived a damn good life. He went out the way he wanted to go out. Yeah, he went out at home. In his room.
Right.
In his room. He was at total peace. A lot of people wish they could die. So half the world wish they could go out in peace in their own room. What they want to go out. Daddy has the benefit of doing that.
Right.
That's why I know that I can feel it. I can feel it. When I look at Daddy's truck, I can feel that in my heart. Then I just take up to that time and pick it right back up. I'm gonna tell you something. Daddy, all right? I'm gonna tell you. Last year, I OD'd. Don't mess around and all that. You got to keep up there. You never know. I OD'd last year. I was dead. When I was dead, I would say, you don't sleep at nothing, you don't know nothing, you don't remember nothing. You going on to the next part. You don't know that. I'm gonna tell you God's not the truth right now. Dad is not. I'm gonna tell you this. Dad don't even know he did. Dad is resting so good right now. If he had the chance, the benefit of coming back, I doubt if he would. I doubt that very seriously, but there's so much truth. But that's in the Bible. God give you life as a blessing. He takes away every more of it. That's a blessing. You live to die. Yeah, we all know if we're gonna have to be in the hood, we're gonna have to do, but we're gonna get this. I'm gonna be gone. You're gonna be gone. Even your boss. It's gonna happen. Right. It hurts. But you know one thing, Jerry says damn good life. Ain't nobody looking for his life. Nobody that won't be hurt. The only person that is the first person like that wants to hurt is Jesus. And he wants to earth to save us. Everybody takes a life. Everybody. But the way you handle your mistakes is what makes you who you are.
Right.
I can feel Daddy right now, man. And I'm always going to feel for Daddy to part of my heart. I'm his son. His blood is running through my veins. Right. He moves on, he's so hard. You're going to feel him forever. You're going to feel him forever. But knowing that he's in peace right now, and he ain't got to deal with the tragedies of this world, it should be really happy for him. It should be happy. Should be happy. Lord, because there wasn't nobody but the Lord in this. Do you know how many people in this world that wish they could die the way Daddy died? I'm proud of my daddy. I'm hurt that he's gone. I really am. I'm hurt that he's gone. I'm more proud than anything. I'm proud of him.
My head hurt.
When I start moving, my head start hurting. I'm really proud of him. Well, all the people that's in this world, they could have died like Daddy died. Daddy died good. He died in peace. He died in his bed. He died at home, in his room. In the house, the people love him. And he came down and he died. And nothing you can do about it. And he in a better place. I guarantee you that. Guarantee. And he down so I don't want you hurting. That's the last thing, Daddy. You hurting. Over it. Keep it joyful the way you died. That's the only thing got me going right now. I mean, because I'd have been got up out here.
Right.
I know it's so bad. I know it's bad. The only thing keep me going on that he died in peace. Mm-hmm. Okay, he really died. I can feel that. I wasn't him. I can really feel it. I can really feel it. I feel him. I feel him. That's why I'm moving around. I cleaned up everything I ever touched. I cleaned up. Mm-hmm. Keep my look. But don't be sad, boy. Be happy. I just did everything he wanted to do in life. Every day he was on that shit. He loved that shit. He loved us. He loved his house. He loved his home. Everything he touched, he loved.
How Tanisha doing?
Listen.
Yeah, she's the baby, and she was there more than us, you know.
That's right. Dad was up underneath her, she was up underneath her, so you know she gonna be home.
Right.
By me being dead at times, is on time. You know, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in myself. I know one thing. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. What happens now that makes all the difference. No, I know my dad was a good dad. He was a good dude. Everybody loves that. And that's all you can ask for. You can ask for nothing else. You can't ask for nothing else. You can't. Just in your heart, you know, he went out good. As the people around him, the way they died, Daddy went out the way he wanted to go out. In his house, with his family, in his home, knowing that everybody's gonna be all right.
Right.
It wasn't him. He didn't do nothing. Nobody did nothing to do that. That's God's work. You know how many people who get died in their house?
Yeah, you're right. Because he wasn't sick, so it wasn't like he was suffering.
It wasn't like we seen it coming.
Right, we didn't see it.
The only way you're gonna have a dream or something like that, that's gonna happen. God lost the dream of God. Tell you for it.
Yeah, because I think maybe I had that dream. Because I dreamt that he died, and it gave me an opportunity to talk to him. If I think of it that way, you know.
That's right. You got to look at it from a spiritual way. But that's how God dealt with it in a spiritual way.
I dreamed that he died. I was like, Dad, I dreamed you died, and he told me.
You have no idea how so many days we had. He just started running off. He just like that. That's my dad.
I'm just wondering why he didn't come to me. You know, people come to me, and he didn't.
Well, I mean, if you had time, he come to you and say, "You already told me." So you died.
Oh yeah, you're right. He had nothing to say. Yeah, we already talked. He already told me he loved me.
That's right. He came to you right there. He let you know right there. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. So dying, be happy that you died. He ain't nothing from him. It's so full of all kinds of wrongdoing.
Mm.
And he did the best he can with his mind. That's all that matters.
Right.
You look at it that way, you can be mad about it. Yeah, you can mention that's life. I mean, that's part of life. That's part of growth.
Right. You sound just like Daddy, because that's what he was telling me, just like you saying. He was like he lived a good life, and not to be sad. He said everybody die, and yeah, that's what he told me.
People live a life like that. That's it. I'm so proud of him. I'm proud of the way he went out.
Mm-hmm.
I wish when I go out like that. A lot of people that pretend to love you, but people that really got genuine love. And that's what he did. He was out among people that genuinely have love for him. That love comes from God.
Right.
That's God. That's God. That's love. Love works in various ways. So you do what you do to make you strong. He didn't do this to hurt you. He didn't do this to hurt mom. Me, you. He didn't do this to hurt no. Lord ain't do nothing to hurt you.
How your daughter doing? She still there?
Yeah, she is.
So everybody.
It's strong. They're gonna hit it. It's just not hit me.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? Lord ain't put nothing on you can't handle.
Okay.
He's gonna give you a way. He's gonna give you something to ease your mind. It's gonna come to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna come to you. Trust me. You hurt now. Watch.
I got pain in my head. I don't know what's going on. Mark.
Because you're looking at it in so many different ways. The way you get the love wants to. So that's how you learn. That's how you be strong. That's how you do it. That's how you go. I'm up there right now. I'm still there. I know that. I know you. I know you're proud of him. So, yeah. He listens to all of them. He shares it up. I feel it. I feel out in my veins, my body.
But are you gonna be okay to help mom and them until I get there? It's bad. It's my head. It's like on one side.
I'm gonna be fine.
You sure?
I'm gonna be fine.
I can't do everything by myself. And
listen, it's gonna be all right. There's a time right now that we come together, we help everybody, we help each other.
Oh my God.
You're gonna hurt something enough, you're gonna miss it. Guess what? It's gonna be all right.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to talk to you later because I'm going through some pain. I don't know what's going on. Right? Because on one side of my head is so bad, I can't think straight. Okay, I love you. I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye. Oh, wait. Hey, wait a minute. Say something. Just a minute.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man? What's up, man?
Yeah. All right, and you?
Oh my God. It's bad.
I was downstairs getting something for her to eat. I was downstairs cooking.
What you say, brother? My mom. Oh, my head is bad. It's bad. And I'm gonna take this pill. I don't know. Wait, how many I took? Oh, I can't take it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't take it. Can't take it.
Okay.
Pain.
All right, you too.
Tell myself I'll talk to him later.
She said she'll talk to you later. All right.
Someone saw it. It's so bad, Mark.
She's still.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No. I don't know if it's like on the side of my head. It's worse than any pain of. It's just like feel like I have a toothache or some shit. But it's in my head. It won't stop. I took medicine. I'm gonna give it
Ice pack or heat pack?
maybe heat. Oh my God. It's like it's my head, my whole face hurting. Might be stress.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't take this. Then I gotta get to Louisiana. Okay, before I end this, I made I made a reservation for a flight, right? So I can get to New Orleans on Monday. And these motherfucking people, I hadn't been on a plane in a while, right? I usually drive. But they tell you the price of the flight. Then when you accept and you start going through everything, putting your name, then they start telling you can't take no baggage. Like, you can't take no baggage. So I can't take nothing but a purse, and my purse can't be bigger than, but so big, right? And I can only bring one. And on top of that, if I want to bring on a carry-on luggage, it's, I think it was $60. So if I want to bring a bag that goes over your head, they charge you $60 for the first bag and $80 for the next bag. So back in the day, you used to be able to take whatever, right? I understand they stopped that and they start charging people based on how big the bag, the weight. That's to go underneath. And they used to allow you to bring, baggage on the plane, long as it wasn't too big and things like that. Long as it could fit in that overhead area, you was allowed to bring it. But you can't even do that shit no more. Like, they charge you even to do that. I was like, this ticket went from one price to a whole nother price like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just bring my purse. I'm not going to party anyway, right? We're going to plan a funeral and to be there for my mother and my sisters and my brother, who would just, he's younger than I am, but he sounded like my dad just now. And I think, like, I can't take it because I'm so far away. Like, I'm so far away from my family. See, if I live closer, like, I remember wanting to move to Atlanta. Atlanta is just like a 7, 8 hour drive. So when they told me my dad died this morning, I could have already been there for the family. But I am, you know what I'm saying? I'm like 20 something hours away. If I was gonna book a train, and the train was 28 hours. I was like, God damn, 28 hours on a train? I could drive and be to Louisiana. On the way I drive, I will be there in like 16 hours. Right? I'm not gonna lie, I'm a speed demon, especially on the open road. There's areas where I'm doing 100, especially through Mississippi, right? Mississippi and Tennessee on 66 and what's that other? Not I-10, I think 20, 66 and 20. Open road, number trees on each side. I have my I make sure I have my CB radio so I can talk to the truckers, and make sure I got my radar detector. I'll get there, but my husband don't want me to drive. Thank you.
Yeah, a few minutes.
Oh, okay. He don't want me to drive, so he was thinking about the train. He was thinking about train. I would never think about train. Train is relaxing though. The thing is, I don't think that's a good idea for me to be cooped up with some strangers for 28 hours. Me crying and not crying and crying again and not crying. I don't think that's a good idea. So if I get a train, you have to get me like a private room. Then I don't, yeah, private room. Which brings the price up considerably. Like, I wasn't prepared for this. Like, I just spent money that I wouldn't have spent if I would have known this shit was going to happen. This is why, as Black people, we need to be prepared, right? Because I just did them. Like, I really spent a lot of money that I wouldn't have spent. So now I'm thinking about renting a car. If I rent a car, because if I take my vehicle, then I gotta worry because I didn't do none of the things I should have been doing to that car. That car has been sitting out there, not moving. My husband said I probably need some tires. He want me to get a tune-up before I take it. So I was like, well, I'm gonna just rent a car, right? I can't take my kids' cars because they gotta work. So I just rent a car. It's no problem. Just rent a car. But he don't want me to drive. Then I keep saying when I get there, I'm probably gonna have to rent a car anyway, right? If I gotta rent a car anyway, just so I can have my own transportation, I was to rent the car here. It's not like they charge you per the miles. I really want to drive myself, but otherwise, we made the reservation for the flight. I already paid for it. I really just don't want to fly. Anyway, I was talking about family and the importance of family, especially on a day like this, right when my father died, because I'm angry at myself because, you know, I wasn't keeping in. I haven't seen my dad, like seen him, touched him in at least probably 4 years, 5 years. Although we talked on the phone, right? I just talked to him last week. I talked to him the week before that. You know, I talked to him. But I haven't seen him. And there's no excuse. Although I'm far away, you know, of course I'm not around the corner. But there's no excuse. Anytime I want to hop in the car and drive there or catch a flight, I could have done that. And I didn't. Now I'm looking at his picture, wishing that I could touch him and hug him and tell him how much I love him. I can't believe my dad is gone. You know, this man has taught me a lot. And then there was a lot of, you know, lessons I had to learn. That's what he told me. When I would tell Dad, you didn't tell me this. And he'd be like, oh, you had to learn it for yourself. You know, but then he would give me a speech about it. Afterwards, just like what he told me about, like I literally dreamed. I dreamed, and the thing is, I called him because my dreams always come true, right? I dream. Usually, people come to me. Like I'm shocked. That's why I'm still mostly in shock because my dad didn't come to me. He like my husband's father. I knew he was passed away because he came to me while I was asleep and had a whole conversation with me, right? Aunts, my grandmothers, my cousins, like they've come to me. And I'm just wondering, like, why didn't my dad come to me? And he could have came to me. And then my brother's right, though. What would he have said to me? Because we already had the conversation when I dreamt that he died. And he told me, you know, he lived a good life. Don't be sad. He said, everybody died. He really sounded just like my brother. He really told me that. I was like, Dad, I was worried. I dreamt you died. And my brother's right. Like, if he came to me, what would he have to say? Because usually when people come to me, it's something they want me to do or say. Like when my husband's father died, he wanted me to tell the family not to fight. Do all the arrangements and things like that. My grandfather, when he passed away, he came to me. I was younger, really young. I was a young girl, and he came just to tell me that he loved me and that he'll miss me. When other people come to me, it's usually, they usually want me to say something to the family. So I guess my brother's right. If my father have nothing really to say, if he's at peace, I guess I'm gonna have to see if I can get him to come to me. But I guess I shouldn't do that. That's not something I should do. This headache. Anyway, so we was talking about the family, the importance of family. If you have anybody out there, any loved one, even if y'all having, arguments, you right now you're at odds with each other over something so silly that really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? If it really, really doesn't matter, then overlook that shit and call people. Tell them that you love them. See, that's the only thing. Like, if I hadn't been talking to my dad, then I would be not only angry at myself for not seeing him face to face, but I would be so angry at myself for not even making phone calls. Right? Every time I called my dad, I told him I love him. So I already know that. I know he knows that I love him because he would tell me. He knows, Dad, you know I love you. Yeah, I know. Love you too, baby. And I'm a baby girl. This just came out of the blue. If he had been sick, I guess I would be able to understand it. And my brother is right, though. He died. He wasn't in no hospital on no drugs. He wasn't in no previous pain. And my brother said he probably don't even know he's dead. That's what my brother said. He probably don't even know he's dead. He probably at peace. And if I know my dad, he's probably, somewhere fishing or hunting. Probably fishing, right? On some pond or some shit like that. I have my dad's birthday gift I bought him. And he never even seen it because I didn't ship it. I was going to bring it to him. That's usually how I do things, right? Instead of shipping shit, we'll buy it. So I have my mother's birthday gift from last year, my dad's birthday gift, my sister's, my nieces and birthday gift, my nephews. And usually when we travel or if somebody travels there, they'll bring all the gifts and then we watch them open them. And so I have my dad's gift from last year. It's a fishing rod. He won, I think it's an ugly stick. He just never shipped it to him. Anyway, I'm gonna get out here and go hop on Facebook for a minute. Whew, this is too much. Do not let stupid issues. Oh, it's an ugly stick? Yeah, it's an ugly stick. Do not let stupid issues come between you and your family members, you and your children, and your children. They should have the opportunities to get to know their fathers. For those of you who don't see it as necessary, I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for my dad. Okay? My dad taught me what a good man looks like, what a father looks like. If it wasn't for him, I don't know where I would be, Anyway, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week. I'm out. How do I turn this shit off? I forgot. My head is killing me.